What's going on, guys? Just cleaning up for the day. Figured I'd give you guys an update of what we got in the shop, what I'm working on, just kind of how everything's going around here. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. New Year's is coming up. Hope you guys are all going to be safe and, have a lot of fun. That's the main thing. So, like I said, with the holidays coming up, everybody's working on getting their trucks in and out. So we're pretty well slammed right now. Our shop's full, the other shop's getting filled up really quick. So like I said, just going to run you guys through what I'm working on right now and show you what the other guy in the shop's working on right now too. So first off, we have a Mack GU with an MP8. This truck came in, customer was complaining of low power, and he said that he was using an extra gallon of fuel an hour. So basically what we did is we ran a bunch of tests and took it on a test drive. Fuel pressure was a little iffy. Did a cylinder balancing test and it was all over the place. So we updated some of the programming and that seemed to help out a little bit, but it still has kind of like a fuel knock, I guess, whenever it's under any kind of load. So we submitted a case to our tech support system called eService, and they wanted me to do an air and fuel test. And I'm gonna see if I can show you guys here. So let's see here. I don't know what you guys can see. Right there. That banjo fitting right there, that is a fuel line that comes out of the head and feeds back into the filter housing. That's your fuel return line. And then there's also one down on the fuel filter base that runs from the filter base to the rear of the head, and that's basically what's supplying fuel to your injectors. So you hook a line from your filter base to the rear of the head, and then from the front of the head to the fuel tank, and you check to see if you have air in either of those test lines. In this case, we did have air coming out of the front line or the return line, but there was no air coming from the filter base, which generally is bad injector seals. So we had to update our eService case, and we're just kind of waiting on a response right now from them. Then I'll come over to this truck, which we've got it up in the air right now. See if we got it on wheel jacks. This truck came in, customer wanted a new clutch. It had a solo clutch in it. It now has an easy pedal. So I've got the clutch in, transmission's in, everything's buttoned up, and they wanted an engine tune-up, which for this customer is adjusting the valves. They want the DPF pulled off and baked. They want the DEF filters changed. We have to, let me think, check for recalls, check the codes, run a regen, just basic stuff. So whenever I was pulling the transmission out to do the clutch job, the transmission cooler lines, there are green retainers in there that basically wrap around the line, and to get those out you have to slide the collar back, and then there's a tool that grips around the retainer, squeezes it tight, that way you can pop the line off. Well, that was seized in the fitting in the transmission, so of course that retainer broke. So we're waiting to get an approval from the customer to replace the transmission cooler lines and the fittings, and then we'll just have to top off fluids, run a regen, test drive, and this thing is good to go. Then finally, we have another Cummins in the shop. I just pulled this one in. It is actually getting a rear main seal. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys or not. I'll do my best. But you can see underneath there, I mean, it is just covered in oil and just garbage. This is a roll-off truck for a trash company, so I mean, it's all, these trucks are always muddy and covered in filth and dirt, and they're just typically disgusting to work on. So those are the 3 trucks that I've got in right now, and I'll show you over here. This truck is one that the other mechanic in our shop is working on. There's 3 of us out here. There's only 4 bays, so the other one's on vacation right now, so I get to use the bays a little bit more than usual. But the other guy, he's working on a truck that was in here last week. The driver actually put DEF into the fuel tank, so had to go through, blow out all the fuel lines, replace the injectors. It's got a new fuel filter housing, just a whole bunch of parts. And it just came back yesterday for low fuel pressure code, if I remember right, and couldn't find anything. I mean, checked all the lines, checked the injectors, changed the fuel filters, was not able to find anything. And then today he pulled the fuel filter base off, and we actually learned something about these fuel filter bases. Here is a fuel filter base, and basically what was happening is inside this port here, it's got a stud like this one, and it screws out, and there's a little piston that goes in and out, up and down in there, which allows fuel to run from here, from this port and this port on the side here, which supplies your hydrocarbon dosing module for all your regen stuff. Well, basically during the casting or the machining or whatever happened, a piece of metal got in there and was holding up that piston, that slave piston. So essentially it just wasn't moving far enough to be able to supply fuel to your after treatment hydrocarbon dosing module, which the first port that I showed you is actually where you plug in a manual gauge to measure fuel pressure. So we weren't getting a good reading there, and that's also where your fuel pressure sensor plugs into. So you can't get a good manual reading, you can't get a good reading on the computer. It's always going to say that it's not getting the right fuel pressure, where in fact it was getting fuel pressure everywhere that it needed to run fairly well. It just wasn't seeing it in the I guess parameters or whatever you want to call it. So those are the 4 trucks that we got in here right now. Just got a few more things to clean up, and we'll be out of here for the day. Like I said, I just wanted to update you guys on what I'm working on, what we got going on in the shop. That's about all I got for you. If you got any questions or comments or anything, put them down in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Every little bit helps. I appreciate everybody that's been supportive and asking for videos left and right, it seems like. I just want to make sure that I try and get as much good content as I can for you guys. I don't want this to turn into just a vlog or anything like that. I want this to be a, somewhat of a learning how-to video, so to speak. We get to see enough trucks, being a dealership, that I think I kind of have a good source of stuff that comes in to where I can make this a very proactive channel, and hopefully teach something along the way. And maybe, well, I hope that I can learn something too, which actually it brings me to a good point. I didn't get any content, well, what was that, 3 weeks ago now. I was actually down in Atlanta, Georgia. I went down there for a class that Mac is putting me through for my master certification. I went down there for the Mac Information Systems, which is all about our dealer portal and using TechTool, which is our diagnostic program that we use. Coming up here within the next month, I think, I'll be going to another class, and then I've got another one in February. Those are both engine based. One is diagnostics and one is overhaul. Once I get those two done, I'll have to take my comprehensive exam, and as long as I pass that, I will be technically a Mac engine master. And then from there I can go on to drivetrain, electrical, or diagnostics, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But so I'm going to try and take some more videos here before too long. Maybe whenever I go off to school, I'll make some videos, bring you guys along, and show you kind of what it's like to go to school and be put through the Mac program. So, like I said, questions or comments, put them down in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hope everybody had a good Christmas, and make sure you have a safe and happy New Year. Thanks, guys.